I'm gonna hold her down. She gonna get this work right here. Since she. Cause I
go
set her
ahead.
up.
I want you to explain to me how people don't move like virgins. I mean, when was the last time you were one?
Dun, dun, dun.
I was one in my life, and I remember
That's a good memory. That's a real good memory.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm sure you remember your first time, correct?
Yeah, because it was recent.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly.
Welcome to the TMF Podcast, where we have too many feelings. I'm your host, T. Staples, and I'm joined by
the lovely Miss Munroe.
And
hey, it is me, Freddie B, TV, Mr. B to some of y'all.
Oh, that's what's up. B to the TV. All right.
You did. You should make this Freddie.
I see you had to mix it up this time. Miss Munroe changed on her.
Yeah,
you guys
trying to copy me. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, she put pressure on me, so I gotta come alive in the nighttime.
Hey, well, listen, we're having all these feelings come to you from the comfort of our homes. That's right, 100% remote. So if you feel our show us how you feel by subscribing so you can get notified when the new episodes drop. And if you like what you hear, send us a message. Our handles are in the description. We love to hear how you feel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that's got all you guys, all you gals, all you good people out there squirming, screaming, and having bad dreams. Some of y'all. That's right. It's the critically acclaimed HBO show entitled Lovecraft Country. But first, it's time for a moment I like to call the Internet Never Loss. That's right. And in this week's attempt to navigate the endless insanity of the internet, I'd like to bring to you something in the spirit of the time and date that we're recording this show. Here's what the internet had to say when we were in the midst of a turmoilic period trying to figure out who we were going to pick as a country to be the next president. The votes were going red, blue, red, blue. It was almost right down the middle. It was a nail biter. And this white woman, this evangelist, this preacher named Paula White decided she had to say a prayer for us. This is what she said.
We break and divide every demonic confederacy against the election, against America, against that who you have declared to be in the White House. We break it up in the name of Jesus. We lose confusion into every demonic confederacy directed right now at this election, directed specifically at the 6 states. We come against people that are working at high levels right now with demonic confederacies and secrecies and demonic plans and networks. We break it up and we command that it be exposed right now in the name of Jesus. Strike and strike. The angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. From South America. Angelic forces. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Pika hata anda ata. Ora bata rata anda eke manda rasata. For I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
Okay, we get it. You know, Tesla, Honda, GMC, we get it. We understand. We understand what you're saying. But whether she knows this or not, her prayers were secretly answered, just not in the way she thought they was going to answer. Because see, those angels she spoke about from Africa, they came over here, and let's just say the country decided between its red or blue fetish, and it decided it was going to go blue. It seems like those African angels came and pushed what the African Americans in general wanted. And so we had another clip that rose up out of the ashes as a anthem for what's about to happen to Donald Trump. Take a listen.
Hang on here.
Hey.
That's right.
If COVID wasn't popping off right now, I guarantee damn near every club in the country would be playing that as a break. And
that joint,
that joint, slide right
because you are detaining me for nothing. Trump, you have been detaining America for nothing. It's time for you to lose your job. Get on out there, baby. You're over with. You're done. So, in the spirit of the Internet NEVA LOSS, I have to ask you, how do you feel about the state of race relations in our country? Look, send us a message. Our handles are in the description below. And let us know how you feel. This has been yours truly in this week's edition of the Internet NEVA LOSS. The laugh never felt so good. You lost your job, baby. See you later, Donnie. What y'all think about that, man? That Paula White clip, man, her preaching, I was crying.
I'm so disappointed in Paula White ever since Trump got in office because I grew up like super churchy, right? So Paula White was like a huge deal. I used to love watching her. But the minute Trump got into office and she just basically abandoned the whole community that gave her the platform she had, she wasn't popular with white people like that. She was popular with black people.
Yeah. And when she started calling the angels in Africa, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. The angels in Africa.
Right.
They're not coming to help Trump out.
Your ancestors enslaved us on earth, and you think you about to use us in ancestry to come and rescue you? What the hell? Get the hell out of here.
Right. And so with Paula White, the thing white people be wanting, like they be good, but then when stuff really start going bad, then they run to niggas for us to help them, to save them and save them out the fire, and then we save them. They like, all right, okay, appreciate y'all. All right, y'all can go back. We good. We got this now.
Right.
And then like goes back as business as usual. So it's like, that's what I'm like, why is she calling a whole bunch of angels from Africa and South America? Like,
right.
Like the black areas. Like, what? Why?
I love
why she calling some angels from Europe?
I think Kevin on stage said, you need to be calling on the angels in outfield, and you need to call them other angels. You know,
right? Like, why she calling a whole bunch of black angels? Like, well, call the Scandinavian angels, the European angels, call them Chinese angels or something.
Right, the angels in outfield.
I'm sure them Chinese angels definitely want to get at what? No, she asking for help for Trump. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
because I was about like the Chinese angels. They really want to get at him. But no, she won't help. So maybe don't call the Chinese. Okay, don't call the Chinese angels because he was calling it Kung Flu. Man, Chappelle in his monologue said that. He said exactly what I was thinking. He was like, why he say that? Because it's so hilarious. Nigga, that's the funniest thing I ever heard him say. Him call COVID the Kung Flu.
But he also said that's something for comedians to say, not for him to say, you know. Not
right.
Yeah.
Bro, it's wrong, but it's hilarious. Can't nobody tell me that is hilarious when he called it Kung Flu and kept doing it. People like, please don't do that, Donald. Look, the Kung Flu is killing us. Donald, don't do that. Yeah. I mean, but it's the Kung Flu and it's killing us.
Which is why, part of why I even played these clips, because, to tie it to what we're going to be talking about today in television, and I guess you could still call this television and streaming, but in television, HBO show, Lovecraft Country, dealing with, racially charged like type individuals and situations, and like, Donald Trump is a prime example of that. I always said that this presidency is going to be a mark in the sand for us to look back on, to say, you see, that's what we've been talking about. You see, that's what, like, pinpointed, like we can see it out in the open, and you can't say it don't exist because we watched it. We watched it live for 4 years. So yeah, in the vein of these, racially charged situations, what do you guys think about this new HBO series called Lovecraft Country? I mean, I don't know if y'all watched the whole I watched all of this.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a very excellent piece of work. And for all y'all don't know, this is a television series that was put together by HBO, based on the horror fiction of H.P. Lovecraft. So, before we get too deep into it, I don't want to go into an overview of all the episodes. I know we don't want to make this show too long because it gets real deep, and I do want to dive into some things, but I want to get some kind of blanket, some surface level stuff here. I want to first talk to you guys and ask you, what is Lovecraft Country? What is it? Fred, Miss Munroe, what is Lovecraft Country?
I still can't fully tell you because I don't think I still fully got all of it. Mm-hmm. Like it was a lot. I mean, I get in the different ways in which they were talking about racism and sexism, and even homophobia and things like that. I get it, but I feel like there was a lot of layers. To me, not always organized very well within them layers, but it was a lot of different things, but mostly just that, and the different ways they were portraying it through each character.
Freddie B, Lovecraft Country. What is it?
To reference what she said about the sexism and racism, what I don't get is why, when we have some piece of a TV show or movie concerning black people, it'll address the racism, but all that stuff always got to address racism, sexism, and homophobia. It got to address all the ills of the whole world. Like, why? Like, why are black people got to be like say the world in each thing and everything? And it's like, okay. Because it's too much. It's like you can see where, like, okay, we talking about, because the overarching thing was racism, right? So to answer your question, it's like this sci-fi take on these people, this family back in like the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, and it's a sci-fi take on them traversing that time in Jim Crow America. Best way I can explain it.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, so the overarching thing is racism, but then you can. The fact that everything tries to get touched on, you can see where it's like, okay, this is the time where we address sexism, and it's like obvious. Okay, now this is the time where we address LGBT community and homophobia. This is when we do that, and it's like obvious, and it's like it's not a cohesive. Sometimes it doesn't feel cohesive. It's like you place this here just for that, and it's like it's obvious to me.
So I wouldn't say that necessarily them talking about all the different topics wasn't cohesive. I just think that the way they executed it, it was just, some of it was drawn out in ways that didn't need to be drawn out, in my opinion. But I wouldn't, as a black woman, of course, I'm not going to say, well, oh, we don't need to talk about these things. And I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like when white people do that, why we got to talk about racism? Well, of course you feel like that because it don't affect you in the way that it affects me. So as a black woman, I don't want to see something that talks about racism that doesn't discuss the sexism that happens within the racism or you know what I'm saying, or the homophobia, because all of that is all stemming from white patriarchy. So how do you not discuss all, you know what I'm saying, all the limbs of the tree?
Okay.
I disagree. Because the reason why I disagree is because, like, for example, if I'm watching something like Moonlight was all about LGBT. Like, it made sense, like, what was going on. Like, that's what the movie is about. So they talking about, like, you know, the boy and his evolution of sexuality, so on and so forth. Like, it's not necessary to talk about sexism and racism or whatever in that particular piece. It's just like when white people do stuff, they may talk about something specific. They may talk about classism. Like, they talk about classism. It's not and when you walk through life, it's something. Sometimes I went through just racism, and in your case, it's sometimes you might just went through sexism. In that instance, it wasn't racism. Racism didn't factor in, and homophobia didn't factor in, or anything like that. You know, it's just like, it's like as it goes, and we as black people, when we have art, it's not up to us to save the whole world, save every ill. Like, why does LGBT rights have to be mixed in with racism? Why does sexism have to be mixed in with racism? Why does racism have to be mixed in with LGBT rights? So on and so forth. Some stuff is just for that. It's so, like, this probably need to be 20 episodes, to be honest with you, instead of 10.
Yeah, they could have expanded it out. And but at the same time, and I have to their credit, I think, because they were trying to come up with this horror fantasy drama piece, and you know, having Misha Green, because she loves the drama, right? Having her on to be the lead, the creator of all these dramatic situations. Do you think that the fantasy and horror really just can't mesh together, being glued together with drama? Is that what makes it feel bloated? Because they're being glued together with Misha Green's drama?
I just think it was,
because the horror definitely is. I mean, even the little twin girls, some of the most iconic
I felt
images.
like that was so pointless.
That's the Jordan Peele stuff, though.
I didn't get the what's the Jigabobos, Jigaboo-boos, whatever.
Yeah. Their name was Topsy and Bopsy.
I didn't understand the entire point of that, and it honestly, the way they pulled it off, it was kind of lame to me.
Okay, so let me jump into that. So the Jigabobo episode was an episode where it was mostly about Diane really getting her opportunity, like Dee, the little girl. She's played by Jada Harris. Now that episode, which is so interesting about the episode, you brought that one up, but that was the episode referencing the situation that happened with Emmett Till.
Right.
I don't know if you caught that.
Yep.
So
and Emmett Till's nickname is Bobo. That's why it's called.
So
Bobo.
okay, there we go. So now they're making these connections, but what it was that they were trying to kind of relate to this whole area, give you this whole idea of the fact that this thing happened, but there was a family. There was that Emmett Till had a family. He had a best friend. He had a mother. He had you know what I mean? It's like he had these people that we kind of forget about who are affected by these situations. Children tend to have to live with the demons of that time period. You know what I mean? So like those demons, they follow them. When things happen, they have these. So what happened was when they put that curse on her, that was her demons. That was a representation of demons that she may now have to live with for the rest of her life, and how those demons never really leave. So I think that was really, to me, that episode was very, very well done in that sense, with the imagery and the connections and all the things they did. There's a lot of episodes that I saw ideas of things happening, but in that one, you bring that up. I think that was one of the best ones I saw because of the symbolism of those demons to Dee, of the Emmett Till situation, to the whole rest of the episode or the environment of the episode. And I really love the choreography of the demons, how intentional it was. And they're like, yeah, I didn't even catch it. I was like, yeah,
that way.
The gyration mixed in with the African stuff mixed in. I was like, oh, this is like, that's deeper than people think. Like, and that's me. I saw it and I was like, oh snap, those are like her. Those are the demons that you get when you have childhood trauma. Like that's what it is. That is her curse. And so I thought that was real interesting. But that you brought that up. But what are some tropes that stood out to you in this series? Like some tropes or some symbols or anything that was notable out of the series?
To me, two things that was noticeable. Which was kind of a similarity between Montrose and what was the girl's name? Christian, the white girl.
Oh, the white girl, Bright White. Christina Bright White.
Christina, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting to me because both, like Montrose, of course, is a black man who is, on the down low, who's gay. So he's being impressed in both of those ways. As the white woman, of course, she does have privilege, but she's also being oppressed by the fact that she's not a man, and how both of them at times, of course, more so Christina than anybody, can also oppress. You know what I'm saying? Like, how Montrose oppressed Atticus, how he ends up killing the, what was her name? The Indian woman, Native American woman.
the transvestite.
Yeah. How he ends up killing her.
She was a hermaphrodite.
Oh, she's a hermaphrodite.
She was not. Technically, two-spirit can mean either thing. It could be a hermaphrodite or somebody who is transgender. It can mean either one.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, how both of them, being oppressed, just the symbolism of the fact that just because you are being oppressed does not mean that you cannot be an oppressor as well. Right.
But at the same time, Montrose's whole thing is kind of like it's a very interesting symbol of our parents, right? Of our ancestors, not just our parents, our ancestors. They try to instill everything you need to have. They try to teach you the lessons or whatever, but sometimes even their best it doesn't hit the mark. You know what I mean? Like even what they left us does not hit the mark. And I think that's kind of what his character symbolizes. Like he was just doing his best, because this whole time we're watching it, we're seeing this turmoil between the two of them, right? We there's some kind of twist and turn between it. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I said it twice.
It's a little late for the spoiler alert.
Well, no, but this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler because if you
should have been held up on this episode,
because we find out that there's a potential that Montrose is not, in fact, Tig's father.
And I'm mad they didn't fully explain that.
But that was his son, and he still was, and he showed him in the episode that, you're my son, I still want to try to teach you. I made sacrifices. And as a matter of fact, he said something, I think the quote was, I wrote my quote, because I wrote that quote down, was, right, when they was looking at the scene, so going back to them looking at the scene, he said, saving Thomas ain't going to change much. It is the first in a long list of sacrifices to be your father. Mm-hmm. So if you think about that goes back to my conversation about, like, with the ancestors. things that they did, like they made these sacrifices, so some of those sacrifices may not have paid off the way they hoped they would pay off, and some of them have, like voting. And so I think that's like that allusion back to the whole racist, this racist world in which the whole piece is set in. And it's set in this Jim Crow world. So you got to understand, like they're trying to make all these choices inside the world. So, okay, so your trope.
Now, hold on, Montrose, and the thing is, Montrose, he was about to save his young lover and sacrifice his son. But his gay romps in the bed, he's ready to sacrifice his son. I was like, that's deep, and that's real though.
No, but I think. And maybe we saw this in a different vein, because it sounded to me when he said saving Thomas ain't gonna change much, he was saying saving that boy, even though that is my lover, is not gonna change much, because I made more than just that one sacrifice for you. That's just one of a line of sacrifices. Now, Freddie B, I want to go back to my question though. Tropes. What are some tropes that stuck out to you?
I mean, we talked about the pickaninny one with the two pickaninny girls chasing her from the book, and so you talk about that, and that was where Jordan Peele really shined. But the other one that's because the overarching thing with this is racism, but one that is not really connected to that is in episode 6, Meet Me and Dig You, when majority of the episode wasn't in English.
Yeah.
That one, the girl,
I love that episode. Woo.
Yeah, she was
she fine too, boy. She fine, boy.
Yeah, she was fine. I was not understanding the speed dating. Them dudes was just curving her.
I'm like, man, she is fine to the mother.
Other than her being a succubus and killing you after you nut, like
Jamie Chung is her name. Jamie Chung.
Yeah,
man,
like
God,
Jamie Chung,
like Lord Jesus.
Man, she was a nice one. Like I probably would have messed around and died. She was
right
because I'd have had a little speed dating. So
wait a minute. Now she said this in Korean, but it translated to, would you be willing to die to fuck me? So it sounds like, Freddie B, the answer for you is you would.
No. And if you tell me that, then
she says it. She says, would you be willing to die to fuck me?
She said that to one of the guys. I'm talking about the other dudes who she never said it to, and they just got to the crib. Like the one dude, the business dude that went there, and she busted him up with the tails. But like that trope, that one really caught me, because Atticus was, when they was about to do it, he was a virgin, apparently. I was like, he a virgin? Like, is this for real? But he was
crazy,
right?
Him in the army, right? I was like, how you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was a virgin, but but then that's the thing. Like, also in the movie, like, I mean, in this show,
I told you it felt like a movie, like a long movie. I told you.
Yeah, like Atticus and Letitia, they both were virgins at the time that we see them have sex, but neither one of them moved like a virgin.
They showed don't.
Neither one of them,
what does that even mean?
I was waiting on Miss,
because you knew I was gonna say something. What does that even mean?
I was waiting, and the thing is Miss Monroe took my bait. So now let's have this conversation. Are we breaking off, Mr. Moderator? Are we breaking off?
No, go right ahead, because it's actually I got some more questions for y'all, so I'm gonna let you finish with your trope, and let's go ahead.
Okay, so the thing moving. So she said, "What does it mean by moving like a virgin?" Right? Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay, so a virgin. If you're a virgin, that implies that you've never been involved in sexual activity. Correct? Are we correct?
Correct.
So that means that you're a rookie. That means you're a rookie when it comes to sexual activity. You are a novice. You know nothing about sex.
Well,
correct.
Well, maybe outside of what you've seen.
Right.
Seen or read. Seen or
right.
read.
Stuff you've heard somebody say, you've seen in a movie,
right,
or you read in a book that is probably some fiction. But the nitty gritty details you don't know because you've never been there. And so then also having sex is a big thing. Do we all agree? Do we all agree that's pretty big?
Well, is it? What do you mean by big thing? Like, you mean your first time is a big thing, or like just sex in general?
First time sex period.
Is a big thing.
Sex in general, I would say, is big, but then even more so, your very first time, like you're breaking the threshold figuratively and literally as a woman.
Oh,
you know, you're breaking the threshold.
Oh my God!
Well, I guess for me, it's more like working out. Like it's like
routine. What I say about
routine.
that is, but like obviously we speaking generally, there are some people out here who just totally just like they have sex with anybody. It means nothing to them. They just give their body and share it with anybody, anywhere, however they feel. Exercise my sexuality, and this is what I want to do. It's a hobby for me. But generally speaking, it's pretty serious.
Okay.
Right?
I can agree. I can agree.
I agree with just about everything you said except for that threshold part.
What's about the threshold? You broke the threshold? You don't like
Yeah.
go past
the
it?
threshold?
Yes.
Figuratively and literally?
There's no
Yes.
threshold there. You mean what you mean? Like it's nothing?
You disagree with that?
Yes.
How?
That whole popping the cherry thing, like that's such a misogynistic thing that does not exist. That does not happen with every woman.
It happens with most women. I'm speaking generally.
No.
And I said first thing I said was figuratively. You got stuck on the literal part. See that?
But you did say literally. You said figuratively
I
and
said
literally for women. You didn't say that for men and women. You
what-
said it for women.
Right. But what was the first word I said?
Figuratively, but you
Right.
distinctly othered women and the fact that it's literal
Right,
for us, but it's not true.
Because with men that they will never break anything. It's never happened with any man ever in life. But with women that does happen. Would you agree?
Not that often.
Not that often?
So
No.
she does agree because she said not the opposite,
Right.
which means it happens
Right.
sometimes.
So it happens.
Occasionally.
That's something that's known. So so people
But
say you go horseback riding, you stick a tampon or whatever. Yes, if you stick something up there and then break that threshold, the point is every woman has a threshold that will be broken. It may or may not be broken through sex, but it can and will be broken in some form of fashion. Right?
she
Right,
ain't feeling
exactly.
you.
So-
She just gave you.
Right, right,
She's just
right. Because she trying to maneuver here, but I won't let her maneuver. You see what I'm saying? I won't let her maneuver.
So that's like a thing. Some women do it like they.
I hear it a lot.
She
of
the
women
breath
speak-
out. She exhaled with the.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah. Because I'm gonna hold her down. She gonna get this work right here. Since she.
I'll
Because I
go
set her
ahead.
up.
I want you to explain
I
to
set
me
her up.
how people don't
so-
move like virgins. I mean, when was the last time you were one?
Dun dun dun.
I was one in my life, and I remember the
That's
the
a good
experience
memory.
vividly.
That's a real good memory.
Dun dun dun.
I'm sure you remember your first time, correct?
Yeah, because it was recent.
Dun dun dun.
Exactly.
So
Thomas,
tell
do
me
you remember your first
how
time?
virgins move. Tell me, because
Actually,
nobody
okay.
ever even
So
know.
listen, I remember my first time.
Exactly.
I think I was in 7th or 8th
Hold on,
grade.
wait, Thomas.
We're not
You know
talking
what I'm
about the
saying?
actual
Oh,
acts.
my
We're
bad.
not talking
Okay.
about that. We're not talking about the acts.
So here's the thing.
I'll tell y'all a story.
Right. So here's what I mean by moving. So any human, if they do something that's big and that's minute, that means something in some degree to them, and it's their very first time doing something, they gonna move a different way than when it's their 100th or 50th time doing it.
Right.
So like
it's,
now,
right? Because it's like your first time doing anything. It's like riding a bike. You're gonna wobble the first time, but then after you get used to it, you're gonna hop on that thing. You'll be steady.
You're not gonna move with confidence. You're not gonna move sure. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know, okay, boom, we do this, boom, 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 boom. So what I'm saying is they were moving like they already knew what they was doing. They moved like, okay, this is how this go. Boom, I do this, I flip you up, I do this. If it's your first time, how do you don't know all these things to move so surely? That's not realistic.
But in those scenes, though, like
So what you saying?
in the
Bad
scene
acting?
in no, but in the 6th episode with Atticus and his first time, she was like what's the girl's name? What was the chick's name?
Gia.
With a Gia, whatever.
Gia.
She was, as you could say, the aggressor and more in control as far as that goes.
Right.
And the same thing with Letty and Atticus. You know what I'm saying? When it was her first time, he was the aggressor. So that still doesn't, to me, say that either one of them was moving.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. See, you're saying something different than what I'm saying. I didn't say Atticus. I didn't say the virgins were aggressors. I never said that. I'm
said
saying
they were moving in a different way, but they
there's
weren't
nuance.
acting.
Are you familiar with nuance, Miss Monroe?
Are you?
Dun,
How
dun,
you
dun,
answer a question back? Yeah, I'm familiar with nuance. I'm asking you, are you familiar with nuance? Because that's what I'm speaking about.
Okay, go ahead and speak about it then.
Are you familiar with nuance?
Yes.
Oh snap!
Okay, so you're familiar with nuance. So in both those situations, the nuance in which they moved in those sexual experiences were that of somebody who's had sex before numerous times. Like with both of them, the scene didn't feel believable to me. It's like, okay, what's going on? Something is up. Like maybe it's something else happening with both scenes. But back to your the trope. Like, so you mentioned it. So he was supposed to be the 100th person for her to have sex with and then take his soul so then she could become not a monster anymore.
It could break the
So
curse. It could break the spell.
Right, to break the curse. Mm-hmm. So that means that she had sex with, and then we talking about the 50s, so ain't no condoms or nothing. So we talking about 99 different men done raw dogged her and apparently nutted in her, obviously, because we saw the one dude, he was having sex and he ain't like he pulled out and was like shooting at her face, like he was still inside. So that means 99 men done raw dogged her and nutted all up in her. and then he comes.
You know,
as a virgin.
I actually, as a side note, I actually had because I was like, where did that tail? His dick is in her pussy, so that tail must have came out her asshole then. The other tail. Yeah. Oh shit!
Yeah,
damn,
it's tail.
That blew my mind. Tail. Oh my god!
You just said a tail.
No, because she had tails come from each orifice. But I was like, which opening did the one that come from underneath? I was like, oh damn! I just realized it was her asshole. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it came out and jammed him up. So yeah, so it was like I was thinking about that and what because when I first saw it and she took his soul, I was like, oh, this must be some succubus type deal. And then I think like, later on, yeah.
Wait, what is a succubus?
You never heard of a succubus?
No,
the succubus is like an evil. Leave it to T Stapes.
This is some succubus type of shit. Shit you see on
but
the
streets. The succubus spirit is one of it's like a female spirit who drains the soul of men playing on their wholeness.
Gotcha. And so that's the idea of the Komodo itself in this sense.
Right. What she said, like what gotcha. she called it whatever it was in Korean, but if you translate
Komodo,
it
I think it was Komodo
English,
or something like that. Yeah.
I don't think she said Komodo. She was something else. Because a Komodo, you got I don't know. I don't think she said Komodo though. But whatever she called it, it was Korean for succubus, and so she was that succubus spirit that she would meet men and then take their souls, and so but with that, it's like the underlying thing is that she is a hoe. And then he's a virgin, so that was kind of like the underlying thing. It's like he's a virgin and he's with this hoe, because they really loved each other. They really loved each other. And then when she came back, that's also the thing. Is like he with this other chick.
Oh, it's called it's Kimiho, Kumiho,
yeah,
Kumho,
right,
Kumho. Right. Oh, actually, it looked like Kumho if you look at it in English, but it's Kumho.
God, this nigga right here, man. But the thing that really caught me with that is like. There's a lot of dudes who would be like that. They will meet a girl and like fall in love with her and love her and want her, but then like find out like, oh, you a hoe. Like all these dudes that ran through you, so I don't want you anymore. And so that's like a thing to where, you know, that's interesting. That's a discussion in and of itself. Like
you watched that whole
how do people
show and came up with, oh, she's a hoe.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because it came from the succubus part of like her like having sex. Because it's like, okay, she having sex with all these guys, and because she and then the thing was is it plays on soul ties. It's not just the focus of her being a hoe. It's the whole focus of all that, because it was illustrating soul ties. Because when she has sex with the man, the suction goes on her eyes and she sees their past. She sees their whole life and she absorbs their whole life. She basically absorbs their soul. Right. So she has all these different men's souls inside her, and you saw the anguish she was going through seeing all these different things. And then she met somebody she actually loved, but then now she's dealing with the souls of all the other men she had been with, and then she absorbed his soul, but then she like loved him, but she's supposed to kill him. So she has that dynamic going back and forth.
But is like, it now the thing I would contest here is it truly that she's dealing with the souls of the other men, or she's dealing with the conflict of her this being a part of her, this animal being a part of who she really is, and not wanting to let that go, and it being in conflict with the fact that she has now fallen in love. She does not want to kill him. She does not want to, take him away from her. But she does not want to go on with any other man. Notice, she could have easily said, you know what, I love him, and then say, you know what, I'm not going to do him. I'm going to do another one of these stupid Joes so I can get rid of this curse.
That's what she was going to do.
I get rid of this curse and then go get with him. But she decided no, because she understands based on all of those 99 other interactions, like to do it again, it not only takes apart from me, but it also says that, do I really love him? Would I be willing to give the rest of what I am right now to him the way I am? And will he love me the way I am? So that I think that.
Well, not only that, the fact that they were both discussing how they're supposed to be, like, because if I'm understanding the story correctly, like her mother went to some voodoo Asian priestess woman or whatever and asked for that thing to come to protect her from her
Asian
father.
Woman voodoo.
I don't know what to call it. You know what I'm saying? What they call it in their
almost
language.
like a shaman, but remember in the environment of Lovecraft Country, magic is real. And so all this stuff is done in the vein of magic and spells, right? And in the vein of witchcraft, where you could be evil or good with it, right? There could be, villains and heroes here, right? Okay,
but she asked for that to help protect her from her father, who I'm guessing was molesting her. And so I want to say she asked Atticus basically like, or either she posed the question to her mother, basically saying like, if I continue on, how am I like no more of a monster than any of these people are?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think that's what the real question really was. I think it was just boiled down to her being a hoe and some soul ties, but that's my opinion.
Man, I think she just gave you that work, Freddie B.
No, she basically trivialized everything I just said. That's what I said was way deeper, and it's applicable to times like now, because there's women and men as well who deal with the same deal.
What would you say is the worst moment for you in this film? What about not this film, this series? What is the worst moment in this series for you? Like that moment that just made you go, man, why they do that?
Why Juicy Smouye?
Juicy
Smouye's sister is in this. Why is Juicy Smouye's sister in this? Like, I don't like her casting. I don't like her in this. And
what?
And I was waiting for her to die.
She died.
I thought she did too.
I need somebody darker. Why she like I keep thinking she a white
woman.
Did
you just miss the whole point of Ruby and Ruby relationship?
They're sisters, and the point of them was to bring that whole light skin, dark skin conversation.
I don't like her.
I don't like the conflict between the two of them. Sister. I don't like them not trusting each other, not having like her wanting to trust her sister, but not being too sure. Like, I don't know, I want to trust my sister Ruby, but sometimes she a bitch. So and then Ruby light skin get everything. Why do light skin people get everything? Okay, well that's why they were there. So you don't like her? That's good then. All right, Miss Munroe.
Miss Munroe.
Miss Munroe, what do you not like?
I really didn't like what was it? Letty's episode. I didn't really like it, like the later half of it. I felt like okay, so I like the fact that they included, the Orishas. I like that they included that, with Oye and them, asking for protection and stuff like that. I love that they did that. But the actual, like, the way they did it, to me, a lot of stuff that they did was real corny the way they did it, in my opinion. And that was one of them. It was like, okay, this is corny. Yeah. Why? It's just so many moments.
Which episode was that?
I think that was 3.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you the one that I really did not like. And so the thing that I did not like the most was just probably a small thing compared to a lot of other stuff. The thing I did not like the most was Jiha's reappearance at the end of in the very last episode. Yeah. Only to do one grandstand moment. Yeah. I do love that he apologized to her because he shouldn't she just showed up. Why are you yelling at her for?
He was bogus as hell.
Yeah, he was bogus for yelling at her. Why are you yelling at her like that?
But like I said, I think that goes back to what I was saying about
that
him
was
being
bogus,
a
man.
She being a hoe. And that dynamic.
I mean, that woman love you, man. You supposed to be like, listen, I know we together, babe, but listen, this woman right here, she love me. I need to say something to her. You can't just yell at her. So I think it was good he apologized. I felt a little bit better. I felt like that was an attack on my manhood a little bit. I was like, that's not how we do it as men. You know what I'm saying? You don't just tell your hoe that you don't just yell at your hoe like that for no reason. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
You like the hoe.
Well, because she's a Komodo. I keep calling her Komodo. She was a Cumulo.
And I didn't understand why Letitia went off on Atticus when she came back. Like, what was all that for? Like,
I just chopped that up to, it's some old...
That was dumb as hell. Like,
I mean, technically, no, because she had been calling and he had been calling her. So, like, it's like, something was coming. You knew something was after you. And you ain't tell us. And everything we'd have been through, nigga, tell us.
Well, Atticus had a problem talking, period, through the whole series. I don't understand why he kept... But that was actually another thing that we should that kind of got solved also in that episode with him and his father. Mm-hmm. When his father finally got transparent with him, it was something that he should be doing too. It's like, listen, this is part of our problems. We need to be more transparent with each other and telling our stories so that we can pass things down, so that we can know why these sacrifices have been made and where we have gone wrong. But that would be the number one thing I hated. Her coming back in episode number 10, I just felt like it was kind of a throwaway. It was just like, okay, I got it. We can put her in. She can save the day.
Run to the darkness.
Right, she can save the day.
Like, what?
And not only that, I just hated the whole ending. Like, I was just so mad about that.
Yeah, I feel like they could have saved him. But and then there was another moment I did not like, but it was more on the trope side because I didn't respond on the trope question, but it was more on the trope side. It was the symbol of Atticus' penis being a snake. That messed with me a little bit. Like when I seen that, because I was like, I don't like snakes. First of all, I don't really like snakes at all. And then it's like, why they got to make the black man's penis a snake? Like, I don't want no black woman thinking my penis is no snake.
But that wasn't really Atticus though.
I know, but the image of it, the imagery of it, it was just like, it was so poignant. It was like one of them old white paintings where, you see them old figures from back in the day, the mythological god looking things. Like that shit. Yeah, right. Like, it felt like a mythological shit. I didn't know what that was. So anyway, those are like, okay, so we got that out of the way. We know what we got our big moments we really just did not like. Okay. So now I want to ask y'all something about the overarching themes of the series. And
what we did like.
Well, I mean, because if you want to go there, I mean, it seemed like so easy on the surface. But yeah, if you want to talk about, let's talk about it. What did you guys like about this series?
Episode 9.
Go ahead, Fred. What was in episode 9?
So the Tulsa episode is what I really liked because we've never, we don't have like movies or anything. We just, if you know type deal. But a lot of white people don't even know about it. And it was just interesting. This was my first time actually seeing it in art, like seeing on TV, seeing like a depiction of it. And
well, I mean, if you watched Watchmen, because Watchmen was based off that, like the whole first episode was that. It's about Tulsa and just seeing the carnage and how they blew up stuff and all that other crazy stuff. And white folks was mad because they was expecting Watchmen to come out.
Yeah, I heard about that because I've seen Watchmen the movie like back in the the original movie that came out back and they had nothing to do with like racial things. So I heard about like it dropped and somebody was like somebody black was like, oh yeah, that's great they did that woo, and then the white people was really mad because white people hate seeing like stuff in the past, like how bogus they were. It's like, okay, why y'all keep reminding us? It's over with. Let's move forward.
But yeah, we got it because we haven't moved forward yet. So let me remind you.
Exactly. So this is my first time seeing it in because I haven't seen the Watchmen episode, but then the Watchmen episode is very recent. Like like we haven't had like Malcolm X, all the different stuff. We've had multiple movies and shows about it, but Tulsa Massacre is like just now, 2020 stuff just dropping. So that was that kind of like it hit different.
Okay, on to what I liked. I'm gonna be the girl on the show.
Do your thing, girl. You are the girl on the show. You are the girl on the show.
What is new? What is new?
But like for real. Okay, so like Jonathan Majors is like the perfect combination of Hands Ugly.
Hands ugly. Wait a minute. Hands ugly. Hands
ugly? I see where she going. I see where she going.
Okay, go.
I think I agree.
Hands are ugly? Okay.
You said you think you agree.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
That's funny. But yeah, he's the perfect combination of Hands Ugly. Like he's handsome, but still kind of ugly.
That's an actual term. I thought you meant his hands was ugly. Like,
I don't think that's something she made up. I think
that's a real thing. Ask a woman. Ask a woman. That's a real thing.
When she said that, I was like, she was looking at his hands the whole time. Like I didn't know you would be looking at this man's hands like that. I was looking at my hands. Like, my hands ugly?
But I definitely enjoyed watching him, especially with his shirt off. That was nice.
Right. That's when he handsome. When he get naked.
No, because even with all he like. So when I mean hands ugly, I mean like so. And this is a weird theory of mine because I don't really date pretty boys. But there's a lot of dudes I went to high school with who was fine as hell in high school. They are ugly as shit now. But it's a lot of hands ugly dudes that are the same level of hands ugly even 15 years later. So my thing is that at least if you get involved with a hands ugly dude, you know exactly what he gonna look like. He gonna stay just like that.
Okay.
He ain't gonna let, what I'm saying? He ain't gonna just fall by the wayside and be looking like, damn. Like, like everybody's seen a picture of somebody who's older and you see them when they're young, like, dang, they was fine. What the fuck happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, not just your usual, you've aged, you got a few frown lines or whatever. Like, they just truly, like, their whole face just changes. It's like, it's hard to imagine they were ever attractive. But most hands ugly dudes, they just stay that right amount of cute. They stay right at that 5. They ride that 5 all the way till they die.
Okay, so that's where they at. They are 5.
So they ain't got nowhere to go. They ain't got nowhere to fall.
They could get uglier.
Already low.
They could get uglier.
The bar possible. Already low. It's like he a 5. He dropped down to a 3. 3 is ugly, but that ain't too far from a 5.
It's far enough. A 3 is a whole big difference. That's a whole lot. That's
okay.
a whole lot.
A 3 from a 5?
Yeah, that's a whole lot. That's unbearably ugly.
Okay, my last little piece that I'm going to bring in, and I think this is important. In your opinion, what were some of what are some takeaways? What do you take away from this?
For me, because my favorite episode was the episode with Ruby. What's that, episode 5?
With Ruby? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and which she got to change and
change to the white woman. That was crazy. That was crazy.
That was to me. That was it. Like, because up until then, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this a lot. Like, I'm kind of, But at that one, I was like, okay, cool. Now that I've made it this far, I love this one. I gotta finish it. So I liked after she, became the white woman, became okay with going out in the world, being the white woman, got the job. and how she still wasn't really satisfied. And Christina kind of questioned her and was like, you know, when I gave you this ability, I thought you would do more with it than what you're doing. And it was kind of like basically telling her like she lacked imagination and, you know, trying to make her maneuver through the world. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still kind of doing it as if you're doing it as if you're a black woman being a white woman, but nobody knows that you're a black woman being a white woman but you. Like truly access that power. And so she kept asking her like, who are you truly unhinged? To kind of force her to think about that. And I think that, you know, as, you know, black people, black women, you know what I'm saying, black LGBT, like, you know, we all need to try to be more imaginative in kind of making inform in this world because it was not made informed for us. So instead of just trying to, because I mean we do that a lot, you know, like black people do that as far as like, oh, well, white people do this, so we get our chance, we gonna do it, and basically be unimaginative and just become the oppressors. You know what I'm saying? You just want to replace them. Like be more imaginative and do something way bigger than just that.
So that leaves me with a question then. How do we raise free black kids in reality? Something people could think about. Freddie B, what is your concluding thoughts?
My concluding thought, one thing we didn't touch on, this show has a lot of Christian undertones. They talk about Adam and Eve, all the different types of stuff, but
yeah, the words of Adam. It was in Adam's language.
Right, Adam's language, and then like it was that one part when the Christina's dad was doing the thing, and then the Garden of Eden started to come through the portal. And then it was just, you know, just throughout they would drop different Christian imagery, and I think, you know, because me being a follower of the religion, it's interesting looking at those different things and seeing how, we'll say Hollywood, for lack of a better term, uses those things to add more mystique and add more to lend credence to different stuff. You know what I mean? Because all those euphemisms they use that were in Christian origin, they could have just made up something and did something, but maybe it doesn't hit different. But then when you put it in there, somebody who doesn't know about Christianity, who may just, you know, you might just have a passing knowledge, like, you know, about, you heard Jesus, you heard God, but you don't go to church and nothing like that. You see this, you're inclined to believe that some of this stuff is actually in the faith. And like, for example, it was episode 9 where they in the burning house and they start reciting the Lord's Prayer. If you notice, they start the very first couple of words and then they just cut it off and they go into somebody else talking in the background. And if you look at it, you see like, oh, okay, that they want just enough to have a connection, but not enough to really connect and have that power in the show. So that's one thing I noticed throughout the episodes. But overall, my overall takeaway from the show is that I think that there's something good here. It's good. And they got to where it was good, and they added so much more, and it became bloated. It's like, you know, if you got a good cake and then you put more frosting and more chocolate chips on top, gummy bears, and you put all your favorite candy on top, and it's just like, oh, nigga, why did you put all this on this cake? It'd have been good. I like gummy bears. I like chocolate chips. I like sprinkles. I like cookie dough, but I don't like it all together. You know, that's the feel I got of this. Maybe if you don't have J.J. Abrams, you got just, I think Jordan Peele by himself without J.J. Abrams, you take J.J. Abrams out, I think this is probably a show that hits where it needs to hit.
Okay. Listen, I watched. I thought the series was great and well done. I think it gave me a lot of twists and turns, and also made it gave me something that I felt like I need to watch again and again just to get deeper and deeper and get more connected with what they did. But some of my takeaways from it were simply this: that this show lets us know that to be a hero, it really takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to be a hero. These people, you know, they have what is considered white people stuff, right? It's considered white people's magic. And they find out that it actually brings up a question like, what is the idea of white people shit? Like, it actually brings this question to the forefront. And the magic goes from being white people to ours. But it was ours to begin with based on the ancestors, you know? And so it takes a lot of work to really be a hero because you have to go through all the things that you need to discover what it is you need to have and what it is you already had inside of you. The same thing that Atticus's mother said, everything you need is inside of you, right? She says that too in one of the episodes. The things you already had are there. Almost to Miss Monroe's point of, you know, just being able to imagine, right? To be able to know that we can change our reality and be something different. We got to be able to imagine something different, and it has to be big. And it brought up two other points, and I really got two other big themes from this, which were like every revolution that has actually changed something in history has not been peaceful. Them addressing situations with Tulsa, addressing Emmett Till, like in each one of those movements that came as a result of those horrific things, you realize, like, wait a minute, if you look at history, every time something changed, it was a fight to get it done. It was a fight to get it done. And it kind of made me resolve on this idea. To be black in America is really to live in a horror movie, or in this case, a horror show. Listen, it seems we have too many feelings about Lovecraft Country. Amen. Too many feelings. So send us a message. Our handles are in the description. Let us know how you feel about Lovecraft Country and anything we had to say here on the show.
Subscribe to the show.
Subscribe to the show. Thank you, Freddie B. Subscribe to the show. We love to hear your feedback, so send us a message. And listen, this has been a good one. Thank you, Miss Munroe. Thank you, Freddie B, for bringing yourselves to the table and to have different conversations and to check each other when we need to check each other. You know what I'm saying? I love it. This has been a good one, y'all. I've been here with
the lovely one and only Miss Munroe.
There she is. And
the handsugly Freddie B.
Right. Check your hands, fellas. Check your hands. And listen, I'm yours truly, T Staples. And make sure you catch us next time when we have too many feelings. Peace.